Well, something we do a lot around here at the Dove is we talk a lot about and enjoy a lot of food. But today we're going to talk about a food summit coming to Southern Oregon, and I am really so honored to have in the studio with us today Hannah Ansel. She's with Access Community Food System, and she is the coordinator. And we're talking about an upcoming food summit coming up on March 8th. Is that right?
That's right, yes.
A food summit. I mean, we have to have a summit to know that we need it?
No, well, we're very excited to have a food summit because it really is, well, like you were saying, one of those uniting things that we all have in common. So we're very excited.
What's your goal? What are you trying to do here?
Well, for the last year, Access, and in partnership with Thrive, Thrive is the Rogue Initiative for a Vital Economy. They do the Buy Local Rogue campaign. We've been partnering on a community food assessment process, and we've had workshops all around the community trying to get people involved about this question of, what is the sort of the state of food in our community? What are the good things? What are the bad things? What can we improve? And the Food Summit is really trying to move forward from that assessment into implementing some projects to address those issues.
All right, let me just give you the details on this before we get too far. We just had it up on the screen, and maybe our guys in the control room can put it back up. BuyLocalRogue.org. There it is on the screen there now, and there is the website you want to go to get the details. BuyLocalRogue.org. And it's going to be March 8th from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, so that's a full Friday. And it'll be held at the New Beginnings Church there in Rogue River, 270 West Evans Creek Road. So let me encourage you to be a part of that. It's an all-day deal, so they should register, right?
Yes, we are asking people to register by March 4th, so that's a week from today.
Okay.
Yep, so they can register and get their seat saved for being there the whole day.
Okay, and by going on the website?
Yep, to register they go on the buylocalrogue.org website, and it's $15 for registration, which includes a really nice local foods lunch.
Okay, there you go. That's buylocalrogue.org. All right, so what are some of your sessions? What are you going to be talking about?
Well, we have several breakout sessions kind of forming around the different possible projects that we see moving forward to address some of the needs that came out through the assessment. And one of them is looking at a possible cooking skills education program. So kind of looking at how can we have a program where we could train volunteers that are interested in being out in their community doing little cooking demos or actual longer cooking classes, because one of the things we found that we really need more of is, hands-on cooking skills. How do you, chop up a whole, zucchini and turn it into something really delicious? So that's sometimes a barrier around people accessing fresh, local, healthy food, is the education piece. We're also talking about expanding the local food market for food, marketing more local food into grocery stores, because not everybody has time to go to the farmer's market. So how do we get more local food into those places where people are already shopping?
Is that is that somewhat of a difficult thing to do? I mean, is there a lot of rules and regulations that are going from your tomato patch to Safeway, so to speak?
It is challenging. It really depends on the grocery store. The larger stores do have sort of some standards, and they usually are, used to buying from larger producers. So they, have producers that can supply them, a regular, consistent quantity. Usually those producers have a several $million insurance policy. Yeah. So that is hard for those small farmers to break into. Not so much, in terms of regulations, but more just what is the expectation of each store and what do they need in order to make it work for them.
Well, during the seasons, I know that these farmers markets can be pretty busy.
They are, and they're a wonderful thing that we have in our community. They make local food very accessible, but not everybody can get to the farmers markets. So.
All right, so tell us about your keynote speaker. Tell us about Mark.
So Mark Winnie is going to be our keynote speaker, and he's a food author and activist. He's been doing work all around the country, really, for several years. 20, 30 years, I think. And he's been involved with several different groups around, this community food work, and forming food system councils as a part of the leadership to really move projects forward. He's written a few books, one called Closing the Food Gap, and another Food Rebels is his newest one. So kind of really looking at, what are the community projects, like some of the ones that we're looking at taking on that can really enhance food in our community.
All right. The other thing is, I guess farmers should come. Growers,
Absolutely.
All growers should come, huh?
Yep, yeah. The summit is really open to everyone from sort of that big picture of our food system. From production, so farmers, like you mentioned, food businesses, grocery store owners would be great. Community volunteers, people that are interested in projects to improve our community food system, from community gardens to food pantries, all of those things. Any interested, concerned citizen that's interested in improving food really should be there.
There seems to be a real fairly big variety of special interest food things here. And so, I mean, not only do you have the wine industry now, it's really popped up, but you got specialty people starting to show up. And how big is it? Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a growing sector of the economy, and a lot of other communities have seen sort of this economic revitalization through those types of specialty food businesses. And yeah, we're very lucky to have, like Rogue Creamery here and the chocolates and all of those things. And that's a huge opportunity in our food system.
All right, so you get this information as a result of your summit. Then what happens? What are you trying to do here?
Yeah, so really the goal of the summit is to engage more of the community in moving these projects forward, and even in new projects. These are some efforts that we've identified that will help, if we move them forward. But there's lots of different things that the community can do to get involved and move different projects forward. And people see different opportunities and have different ideas about how things could work. So the summit's really a way for people to network and connect with each other and form those partnerships to move projects forward. So coming out of the Food Summit, we would really like to see a community food system council formed here for the Rogue Valley.
What does that mean?
So the council would be sort of a leadership body that would have members that are appointed that represent those different sectors of the community and the food system. So probably farmers and food businesses and government, all those different pieces, to take on that leadership of making sure that we're addressing all of the parts of food in our community.
All right. Now, Food Access does a great job in getting it to the needy as well. Is there any role in this summit maybe helping that arm as well?
Of sort of food assistance?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the reasons we've been engaged in this process, and the Oregon Food Bank, which is our statewide network, they've been involved in this work for a number of years now, because we've really been looking at, food boxes aren't necessarily the end answer to hunger. There are sort of these root causes that we want to try and get at, and that's why we're looking at this bigger picture of how do we improve overall access to food in the community, and making healthy food more affordable and all of those things. So yeah, it's more the big picture, really.
Legislatively, is there any bending so that these farmers and growers can get their food to market better, or is it so restricted that that's an impossibility?
In Oregon, we've actually had some really great strides in the last couple of years. I don't know if you're familiar with the Farm Direct bill that just passed. It was in, I think, 2011 that it passed, and that's made it made small farmers able to actually do some minimal, low-risk food processing of their products and sell it directly to the consumer. So there's a lot of leeway if you're selling directly from the farm to the consumer, because the idea is, you're building that relationship between the farmer that and then the consumer, so we can actually do jams and pickles and dried food without having to have a certified kitchen or anything like that.
Also, there can be some processing.
Can be, yeah, if you're selling directly to the customer at a farmer's market or your farm stand, that sort of thing.
Does that require a lot of disclaimers and things like that?
They do ask you to put a label on there that does sort of say what's in it and the farm and contact information. But no, it's pretty simple, and a lot of farmers in the area have been taking advantage of it, which is really great. It allows them to kind of test out a market for what we call a value-added product. So it's really good.
Well, Hannah, how would you rate the food quality grown in Southern Oregon?
Oh, well, we grow some really, really wonderful food here in the area. We're actually kind of known, I would say, across the state and in other places for the food that we're producing. We have some really great small farmers that produce really, really good food. And, we've got, like we were just talking about, the creamery and all of those wonderful food that's being produced. So I think there's still a lot of potential for sure of diversifying the production of what we have here.
All right, let me just say to our viewers and listeners, this is a Rogue Valley Food Summit. Might be very educational for you to attend. If you're at any level in food business, from a grower to a provider, I guess, and everything in between.
And even community members, really, just the average concerned citizen should definitely be there.
All right, it's the website for you to register, and they'd like to have you registered by a week from today, is buylocalrogue.org. Those watching on the Dove TV right now can see the website, and there's the web address, buylocalrogue.org. And $15 registration fee. It's all day. It's March 8th from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. It's going to be held at the New Beginnings Church there at 270 West Evans Creek Road in Rogue River. And do you have a phone number?
I do, yes. People can call me at 541-618-4019, just if they want more information in general.
All right, and it's going to be an all-day event, and they'll have some breakout sessions. It's going to cover a lot of these items that she talked about. And again, tell us about Mark, his background. He'll be the special speaker.
Yep, Mark Winnie will be the keynote speaker, and he's an author and food activist, and he's just got some really great experience to bring about, how, all of these different pieces that we've been talking about today are not just one piece. They're part of sort of this larger whole picture of food, and if we can really kind of connect all those dots, then we can do a lot.
Okay, and again, this is really sponsored by a lot of people. I went through the list of people here; it'd be pretty long. But Hannah, let me thank you for being here, and encourage our listeners and viewers to get a hold of you. And again, if you're interested in this at any level, buylocalrogue.org. Again, there's the website, and that's the address there to the website for you to pre-register. That's buylocalrogue.org. And one more time, your phone number?
541-618-4019.
Okay. Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we'll see you next time on Focus Today.
Hi, I'm Jim, and I work at the Dove TV. Every weekday between 6 and 8 a.m., our award-winning news and sports team bring you the best morning show around. It's live, it's honest, and it's a whole lot of fun. And you help make it happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to air local programs that share your voice by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us.